Everybody, it's Roland Denzel, eatwellmovewell.com, and it was a little bit too loud in my apartment to make this Q&A video because the gardeners came by just as I started to record. So I decided to go for a little walk and see if I could find a quieter place out here. And I did. You can still hear a little bit of traffic off in the distance, occasional motorcycles zooming by the canyon down below, but otherwise it's not too bad. We are ending the last few weeks of our latest 90-day reboot, and we're starting another one come early April, but this last one's sort of winding down. So we've taken a group of people, 30 days of real food followed by more real food and a lot of habits, cooking, movement, stress reduction, sleep, all the types of things that are really important to get you into better health and get you on the right track towards the weight loss that you want. And we do regular Google Hangouts for our clients and in this thing, and they get to ask a lot of questions and stuff. A couple of them came in too late to answer on the air, so I just thought I would answer them here. The first one came in. It's about visceral fat. And for those of you who don't know what visceral fat is fat that surrounds the organs. It's more internal to the body, and like all fat is internal to the body, but there's some fat, subcutaneous fat, which is right underneath the skin. And that's the stuff you can pinch. And you might have, it's the stuff that covers up your abs. It's the stuff that makes your body parts jiggle in ways that you usually don't want them to jiggle. And visceral fat is the stuff that's even deeper, and it's surrounding the organs. And because of the differences in these two types of fat, visceral fat can actually be more dangerous. And for two reasons. One, you don't always know that it's there. So you could be thinking everything's great, fine and dandy, and you're in super good health, but because you don't have any fat you can pinch, when in reality you have all this fat surrounding your organs that's causing hormonal problems for you. Most notably, the kinds of hormonal problems that will lead to, or can lead to diabetes, like type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome. So how can you tell if you have it, and how can you tell if you have too much? Well, everyone has some, right? Just like everyone has fat under the skin, everyone has some visceral fat. So how can you tell if you have too much? The easiest way, it's not foolproof, the easiest way is to measure your waist circumference. Now men, you want to look out for something over 40 inches, or that's for the imperial metric, right? For the metrically minded, that's 102 centimeters. Women look out for 35 inches or 88 centimeters. There's that motorcycle I was telling you about. So men 40 inches, women 35 inches. Men 102 centimeters, women 88 centimeters. So it's not foolproof, because you could be a really large person or a really small person and fall outside of those parameters. But if you're close to those numbers, you might want to consider that you could have more visceral fat than you really need, and you could be in danger of metabolic syndrome, heart disease, things like that. So other things to look out for: do you have high blood pressure? Do you have elevated triglycerides? Or do you have low HDL? Or has your doctor told you that you have high blood sugar, which is usually like over 100 when you're in a fasted glucose test? So you got to be seeing your doctor regularly, get your blood work done regularly, and then check these parameters. Now, the one thing is, most doctors do not yet measure your waist circumference. So if you do it on your own, or you've asked your doctor to do it, that's a good way to sort of share in the conversation, talk about your body, and make your doctor aware that you're concerned and you want to take care of these issues. Of course, if you have this extra visceral fat, the good news is it's pretty quick. It's one of the easier fats to lose. So as soon as you're on the right track from a diet and exercise perspective, you can drop that fat pretty quick, get out of danger. So that's the visceral fat. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask more in the comments. Another question we got was, how much walking is necessary to lose weight? And the answer is 0, really. I mean, you don't have to walk to lose weight. You can lose weight. We have sedentary people that lose weight, people in wheelchairs that lose weight strictly through calorie restriction, dieting. So you can do it, but it's not optimal. Obviously, moving around is going to be a big help there. In fact, it's not just about enough walking or how much is necessary, right? Walking is more about health than it is strictly about weight loss. Can the two go hand in hand? Of course they can. But it's really important that you walk for your health and that you get enough movement, but also that you're not just moving more. There's a certain point where if you're getting 10,000 a day or 70,000 a week, that's pretty much enough. You don't want to just because you have to lose weight, you don't want to necessarily add more. But what you can do is start moving more often. So don't save that walking for the end of the day and then walk your extra 7,000 steps. Get up throughout the day. So if you take breaks from work, get up and walk around, take a walk at lunch, walk to the grocery store and back with some food. If you're going to go to dinner, is there a way that you can walk to dinner rather than drive to dinner? All those kinds of things. Because even more important, after you've eaten, is there a way you can walk home? Because as we've talked about before, I've written about before, any exercise that you do after you eat is more likely to positively affect your blood sugar and your insulin sensitivity. So as little as a 15 to 30 minute walk after you eat is recommended. So it doesn't have to be a power walk, just get out there and walk. So, but if you're really trying to lose weight, and if you feel like you're walking enough, or you really don't have time to walk more after you've hit those 10,000 steps a day, what I would recommend is a little bit of high intensity interval training, which is like maybe sprinting up a hill, sprinting on a cycle, or rowing machine, where it's just very intense. And the whole exercise session only has to last for about 15 minutes. So you're going to work really hard for 30 seconds, and then you're going to rest for about do slower stuff for about a minute and a half, and then repeat for a few sessions like that until you've reached about 10-15 minutes total. So warm up, hit it hard, hit it fast, lots of rest in between, and then you're going to rest and you're going to be done. And you just go back to walking. If you've done this at the park, you just walk home. Awesome, right? After that, you want to make sure to add some weights or resistance training. 2 to 3 times a week is really all that's necessary. Between walking and weight training, you're running your best chance of maintaining muscle when you're dieting, maintaining bone mass, and also building bone mass for long-term health. So people who are at risk of osteoporosis or osteopenia, it's very important to, not in addition to eating right, you need to walk plenty, get plenty of good walking, right? And also resistance training can certainly help with that as well. And it's really going to help boost your metabolism and build muscle instead of fat. And when you're losing fat, you're going to focus on losing the fat rather than losing muscle. All right, how's that sound, right? The last thing is one thing I've been wanting to write about this, because we get a lot of emails about, like, well, what's the little hack that I can do to accelerate my fat loss? And what about bulletproof coffee or putting butter in my coffee? Should I be taking cold showers to help spur on my fat loss? And the answer I generally have for that kind of stuff is that those are little hacks. And those, if you are at a point where you've done everything else and you love micromanaging your nutrition, micromanaging your exercise, and really keeping track of all these little things, then maybe these hacks are for you. But I'm not a hacker from my body, right? I've spent a lot of time developing good habits that keep me in the right direction. So it's one of those things where slow and sure wins the race. If you pile on everything, try to hack your way into perfect health, you might get burned out. Versus if you adopt a new habit every week, let that habit sink in, get comfortable with it. At the end of a year, or at the end of a month, let's just start there. At the end of a month, you've developed 4 good new health habits. So that's a pretty powerful way to start off the next month. Then at the end of that next month, you've got 4 new health habits after that. You've now developed 8 good health habits. Now consider for a minute if those health habits are focusing on real food, walking every day, going to the gym several times a week, cooking at home, what else? Getting more sleep, stress reduction. I mean, there's all sorts of habits that you can do, that you can learn in 1 week, that will carry you through a good health throughout the rest of your life. And what's more important, hacking your way into something that you're going to give up on in a couple of weeks, or finding a habit that's going to carry you through good health, lean, trim, fit, and happy through the rest of your life? The answer's pretty clear. All right, I see ants crawling all over my phone, and so gonna say goodbye. And until next time, Nats, Ants, and Roland are out of here.